It's 8 p.m. Big stories, big questions, real conversations.
There is something about this TCM agreement that is off.
From the headlines shaping the nation to the issues impacting communities across Jamaica and the diaspora.
No Deportee around here!
This is PDTV News with Andre Stevens, live from Kingston, Jamaica.
Public officials should know.
Holding the powerful to account.
What do you think about the 10,000? That is the most despicable, they say, coming to Jamaica.
Bringing you exclusive interviews, breaking developments, and the context behind the day's biggest events.
It not help with 3 school lockdown and him don't help.
In the constituency?
Yes, sir.
Anything you do, you don't do it already. Step aside. So you call for resignation? Yes.
The conversations that matter. The people at the center of the story. Serious journalism delivered with warmth, honesty, and just a little fun.
I'm not sorry, listen to PDTV show.
Oh yeah!
So many things I did not know. Oh yeah! Tune in for this show. Long and not sorry.
Oh yeah!
Long and not sorry.
Because the news should inform, challenge, and connect us all. The conversations that matter, the people at the center of the story. PDTV News starts now.
We're meant to size a song, you know. You know the one there. He roll it away. He roll the sea away. He roll it away. He roll it. Come on now, hey. He roll it away. He roll the sea away. He roll it away. He roll it away. When Israel out of bondage came, I see before them lay. the sea away. He rolled the sea away. He rolled the sea away. All of the problem roll up. All of the sickness roll up. All of the bill them roll up. Everything problem. Yeah. He rolled. He rolled. He rolled. He rolled. He rolled. Hallelujah. Glory. Thank you, Jesus. Whatever you face this week, forward still. Whatever mountains come in your way, forward still. Yeah. Whatever, even if you buck your toe, forward still. Disappointment come, forward still. Woo. And if another pastor fall, forward still. After the pastor we are follow. We obey with pastor, but we are follow Jesus. Forward still. Woo. Young people, walk holy. Walk holy. Make the right decisions. Walk right. Walk holy. Ramandosia. Rakandarabasiondarabosa. Walk holy. Forward still. It's Jehovah's will. Though the billows dash and sway with a concrete strength, we will push. Let the church be the church, and he will roll. Yes, he will roll. No matter what you face, he will roll. Even if you fall, get up and he will. Oh yes, and he will roll the sea away.
For I want to go to heaven when I die. We go here when Jordan road. Get something and wave it. 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 Grab a rock 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 and wave it. Come now, wave your hand. Wave your hand. Wave your hand if you love the Lord. Wave your hand. Wave your, yes, wave your hand if you love the Lord. And me say roll, Jordan roll, roll. Praise him like you just don't care. Just praise your God, because you know what he has done for you. Just give him praise. Rock and praise him. Dance and praise him. Wave your hand and praise him. For I want to go to heaven when I die. We go here when Jordan. My God, David was one of the greatest musicians. And I hear this musician playing. Give God glory, musician. Tell them, play a little David. Play a little David. Play me David. Play a little David. Yes, play me David. Play a little David. Yes, play me David. Play a little David. Me say roll, Jordan. Me say roll, Jordan, roll. My God, Church of God this evening. God is good. Yes, God is good. God, for I want to go to heaven when I die. We go here when Jordan. Jordan a roll. A river Jordan a roll. Roll river Jordan. Roll river Jordan. Roll river Jordan. Roll river Jordan. Roll bank to bank. Roll bank to bank. Roll bank to bank. Roll bank to bank. Let the deaf man hear. And the dumb man talk. And the blind eye see. And the crippled man walk. Roll back to bank. Roll back to bank. Roll back to bank. Roll back to bank. A river Jordan a roll. A river Jordan a roll. A river Jordan a roll. A river Jordan. I feel like praising him. I feel it when you roll. Me want hear when you roll. Me a feel it when you roll. Me want hear when you roll. Me a feel it when you roll. Me want hear when you roll. Me a feel it when you roll. Me want rock and praise him, boy. Me a feel it when you roll. Me want hear when you roll. Boy, river Jordan a roll. People make you roll, make you roll. Boy, a blessing make you roll. Yes, a blessing make you roll. Boy, are your blessing make you roll. Yes, are your blessing make you roll. For I want to go to heaven when I die. We go here when Jordan rolls. Somebody.
Heat life, he life, he life.
Yes, comrades! Youth and youth! Undecided voters! PNP coming again! So tell your neighbor, tell your friend! Green man I ride with like mule, and I take the nation for fall! But we have a new name for him! What him name? Him name Eli! Bangarang! Oh, we tired that the labor pay! The drive across the bus and the country going down the drain! Yes, we tired that the labor paid. Poverty of us we shut and we going insane. Why? Eli. At the new name for the bus driver. Eli. That's how you hear from every corner. Eli. The name a ring throughout Jamaica. Eli, 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 Eli. Eli. On a Monday, Eli. On a Tuesday, Eli. On a Wednesday, Eli. On a Thursday, Eli. On a Friday, Eli. On a Saturday, Eli. 2 times on a Sunday. Eli, Hear this. Eli tell we say him a go build up the country, put money in our pocket and end poverty. Promise the farmer them a go drive SUV. No him touch the bus, him a blame PNP, but Eli is a rookie driver. Him cannot run Jamaica. Him fi go sit down back in the harbor. Him too lion out of order. Oh, we tired that the labor pay. The drive across the bus and the country going down the drain. Yes, we tired that the labor pay. Poverty of us we shut and we going insane. Eli. At the new name for the bus driver. Eli. That's how you hear from every corner. Eli. The name a ring throughout Jamaica. Eli make big promise to teach a nurse and police. Promise to give them big salary increase. Promise jobs, more jobs and good economy. But no him crash the bus, him a blame PNP. But Eli is a rookie driver. Him cannot run Jamaica. Him fi go sit down back in the harbor. Him too lion out of order. Wanna remember this? Eli from a party new on the scene. Swear say him done with the garrison and the green. I'll never go back to that. Him tell the country now him greener than green with no credibility. Eli. At the new name for the bus driver. Eli. That's how you hear from every corner. Eli. Him name a ring throughout Jamaica. Eli is a rookie driver. Him cannot run Jamaica. Him fi go sit down back in the harbor. Him too lion out of order. On a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, on a Thursday, on a Friday, on a Saturday, 2 times on a Sunday.
Alright, partner draw. Partner draw. Andre. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. With the 2 for the rat them. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. With the 2 for the rat them. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap in the parliament. Set a rat trap with the 2 for the rat them. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap with the 2 for the. Set a rat trap in a FLA. Set a rat trap with the 2 for the rat them. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap with the 2 for the rat them. Set a rat trap in the school. The one them where teeth to picking them money. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap in the judiciary. With the one them where take money out of the table. Set a rat trap for the lawyer them. Set a rat trap. Take the people money and take them land title. And them not get no title. Hello? Set a rat trap. Partner draw. Partner draw. Andre. Hello? Hello? Me say we set a rat trap in the church. For the one them we are thief the offering. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. We must catch them. Set a rat trap in the tax office. Set a rat trap in the 2 for the rat them. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap. Me say we set a rat trap. Andre! Oh my God, we are suffering in Jamaica with the corruption. Jesus Christ, you can't get them. Set a rat trap down on the wharf. Set a rat trap for the, what they call them? Set a rat trap down on the wharf, man. Yes? And set a rat trap in the airport. Hello? Hello, you know, say I'll hear Jamaica bankrupt, but we don't know where the money go. Set a rat trap, set a rat trap. Set a rat trap with the 2 for the rat them. Set a rat trap. Set a rat trap in the entertainment. Hello? Set a rat trap in the entertainment. Set a rat trap. I'm saying set a rat trap. The those who are do contract killing. We must catch them in America, in England, and in Canada. Set a rat trap to the one them with Jamaica. With the 2 for the rat them. Set a rat trap. Hello? Set a rat trap. We must catch them. Tear off the cover and expose them. Set a rat trap. Alright, sir. Set a rat trap.
It's 8 p.m. Big stories, big questions, real conversations.
There is something about this TCN agreement that is off.
From the headlines shaping the nation to the issues impacting communities across Jamaica and the diaspora.
No Deportee around here.
This is PDTV News with Andre Stevens, live from Kingston, Jamaica.
Public officials should know.
Holding the powerful to account.
What do you think about the 10,000? That is the most despicable, they say, coming to Jamaica.
Bringing you exclusive interviews, breaking developments, and the context behind the day's biggest events.
It not help with 3 school lockdown and them don't help.
In the constituency?
Yes, sir.
Anything you do it already. Step aside. So you call for resignation? Yes.
The conversations that matter. The people at the center of the story. Serious journalism delivered with warmth, honesty, and just a little fun.
I'm not sorry, listen to PDTV show.
Oh yeah!
So many things I did not know. Oh yeah! Tune in on this show. Long and not sorry.
Oh yeah!
Long and not sorry.
Because the news should inform, challenge, and connect us all. The conversations that matter, the people at the center of the story. PDTV News starts now.
Hey, evening everyone. It is Sunday, the 5th of July. And look, I'm in a fancy shirt tonight. That's because we've been celebrating America's 250th birthday. I think it was 250 years ago, America said they wanted nothing to do with the British, and then they became an independent country. So ironically, a British guy in America is celebrating American independence. Make it make sense. Anyways, hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome to the show. So here's the thing. I'm in for Andre tonight. So we'll be doing this over the next couple of weeks, continue showing up for him. As we all know, he's a pretty busy guy right now. And that doesn't mean to say because he's busy, the show mustn't go on. The show is going to keep going on. And remember, this show is for you, the people, right? Your voice, your stories, the things that you guys want us to dig into and to try and, get our teeth into, and especially if they're having a big impact at home or abroad. So it can be a story in Jamaica or across the diaspora. We're here to look into it. Guess what? We make the news, so we don't really want to be the news, right? That's kind of like the approach moving forward. And I've got Matthew, who's on the technicals tonight. No pressure, Matthew. No pressure. You got to make sure everything's on time tonight. Okay? I've called him out. That's a really nasty thing to do as a host, right? To put so much pressure on your producer. So we're going to get going shortly. And I want to make it clear tonight that I brought a little spade with me. Do we have any diggers around here? Does anyone here like to go digging or find themselves to be in the garden? Any keen gardeners in the chat tonight? Anyone here tonight? Can we show my little spade, Matthew? Crispy, yes. I was around on Friday, but I was behind the scenes. I was technically here, but I did see how festive Friday was. I heard Courtney even had his little jingle bell that he was running around with. So I want you to show, Matthew, our spade graphic, which basically is going to give you guys a sense as to where we're going tonight. There's a theme for tonight, okay? And tonight I'm bringing the spade out because we're going to go digging. We're going to do some proper investigative digging tonight. We're not going to go into the garden, but we're going to dig into one of the biggest political controversies in Jamaica right now, the Third Country Nationals deal, the leaked documents, the unanswered questions, and Ambassador Audrey Marks' latest response. If the truth is buried somewhere tonight, Jamaica, we're going to see just how far or just how deep we have to dig. So we've got a very special guest who will be coming on, a former ambassador who was at one time during PJ Patterson's leadership, was in Audrey Marks' position. He was Jamaica's ambassador to the United Nations and was also a former Secretary General of CARICOM. So someone who has a lot of experience in diplomacy. So we're going to hopefully get to the bottom as to what what has gone wrong, how deals are negotiated, who knew what, did the Prime Minister know, when diplomatic notes are being written, can somebody with sinister intentions go in and alter those notes? Our special guest will be answering those questions. So like I said, I've got my little shiny spade you can see there, and I'm going to be digging tonight. Digging tonight. So Audrey Marks and everyone, if you guys are out there, we might have the truth. We're going to shine some light where people don't want the light shone tonight. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about the enduring career and legacy of Stephen Francis, the man who transformed ordinary athletes into Olympic champions. He's of course died, so we're going to look back at his life, the impact, and the sort of the enduring mark that he's left on Jamaica, and especially those athletes as well. And there he is with Asaf Powell. So we'll be looking back at his life and paying him tribute and just remembering one of the greats. I'm hoping at some point he'll be recognized as such properly in Jamaica in terms of some sort of statue or something. A man who has done so much. And then we've got a special guest. We've got Reverend Mark Thompson. He's a political, civil and human rights activist who worked on former presidential candidate Jesse Jackson, who of course died earlier this year. He worked on Jesse Jackson's campaign, first black man to run for president in the US. So we've got Mark Thompson, who's going to be coming on a little later on, because tonight we're focusing on the third country nationals deal, what it means for you, and also how people are reacting outside of Jamaica as well, because this is pretty much a big story. But before we get going, let me do a quick roll call and say hello to all the regulars, the people who show up, the people who are here. Pauline, I see you. Pauline, thank you for being here. I appreciate you making the time to be here with us this Sunday evening, because I realize, right, you guys can be doing better things. So you're choosing PDTV to take you to bed or to take you through the remainder of your evening, and we appreciate that. And you know what we're going to do? I see you, Juliet, as well. Kim's in Brooklyn, New York. Kim, we're neighbors. We're neighbors, Kim. Let's do coffee soon, Kim, okay? Is that Jerv? Jerv's in Florida. Colleen, yes, hey, Colleen. Monica, we appreciate you being here. Jacqueline, hey. Lorna, good night to you. So you guys are all here. I'm going to take the time and I'm going to keep going. Colleen, we appreciate it. Pauline, you're my... technically, for me to get to New Jersey, I've got to cross state line. So who knows? I might come for coffee with you also, Colleen. So we're going to do our little coffee, PDTV coffee chat, and we just chat about all the stories that we cover on this show. So if you guys are here, Andre's in the Bronx. Shout out to the Bronx. You're a couple boroughs away from me. So Brooklyn and Bronx, we're always rivals. I'm a Brooklynite at the moment. So Sweet Lips is in Long Island. That's a bit of a trek, Long Island, you know. Don't really tend to bet. Long Island is like Coney Island. It's a little bit out of the way. Oh, Crown Heights. So you're like neighbor. You're just a stone throw down the road. Who's that? Crown Heights. Okay, it's gone. Mandeville, Dell. Listen, I'm gonna live. I see you as well. Irving, good to see you in New Zealand. Not in New Zealand, New Jersey. Jen is in upstate. Tracy's in Florida. All right. And shout out to everyone in Jamaica. Right. We're going to move on now. And as we go along, we'll shout you guys out and try and get some of your comments in the show. So let's go in. Let's get going. So I want to begin with our main story this evening, right? And 27 days. 27 days. That's how long Jamaica has been waiting for answers in the disappearance of 12-year-old Crystal McLean. I just want to show you her picture because I feel like we will have all seen this young girl's picture on social media, may not know the full story. So tonight we're going to be sharing with you important details about who this young lady was, the situation surrounding her death, because as we speak right now, police are still awaiting forensic confirmation to determine whether a body that was recovered from a river in Portland is in fact Crystal. Until that process is complete, authorities have not yet officially identified the body. However, it is a possibility that it might be Crystal. And tonight, one member of Crystal's family has decided it is time to speak out. Joining me is Crystal's aunt, Megan Lindsay. Megan, welcome to the show. And I know, despite the fact that this is a difficult time for your family, you've decided that you wanted to speak out tonight to address speculation which will give you an opportunity to try and set the record straight about what happened to your 12-year-old niece. Is Megan there? Megan, if you're here, we need you off mute.
All right, so good night to everybody that is on the live. I'm here. However, before I get started, Mr. Phillips, I just want you to know that I only have half an hour because I have somewhere to be. So I'm just here for half an hour. So yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of rumors going around about Crystal, and I need to, clear up some of the rumors because the mother, which is my sister, Crystal mother, is my sister. She went on a live the other day, and trust me, the people on the live, they were just all over the place. So it is not yet confirmed that the body that was found is Crystal McLean. We're waiting on the DNA test result, which has not yet been done also. And we're also awaiting the autopsy because it was cancelled Saturday. It would have been done yesterday, but it was cancelled, and I don't know the reason why it was cancelled. All I know is that it is cancelled. And
Stop.
Go ahead, Mr. Phillips.
Megan, are you able to turn your camera on because you're echoing a little bit? Or do
My
you?
hair is not fixed, Jesus.
Okay.
All right, so this is me. My hair is not fixed. I'm just home until I'm ready to go about. Then I will definitely fix my hair. Can I turn off the camera or should I let it stay?
Megan, listen, I think you're fine. I think given the circumstances and how you're speaking out, I think people be more focused on what you have to say. I am echoing though.
I don't know why. Let me try go outside and see, because the internet is moving a little bit. You hearing me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you. It was that I was echoing. What I might need you to do, Megan, I might need you to leave and then click the link and come back in if that's okay.
All right, let me do that.
Okay. So I'll give Megan a little bit of time, maybe just 30 seconds or a minute or so to come in, and I'll just try and echo the story. So Megan is the sister of little 12-year-old Crystal's mother, right? So as we know, Crystal disappeared 27 days ago. Unfortunately, a body was discovered laying face down by a passerby in a river. Okay, we've got you now, Megan. That's great, and we're not echoing, so thanks for doing that. Listen, you wanted to come on specifically to talk about 12-year-old Crystal, your niece who's at the center of this tragedy. What exactly has been going on? Why have you felt the need to come out and to speak out tonight?
All right. So everybody is aware that it is all over social media, and I've been scrolling and I've been seeing where people are saying that she was raped by her father. Her father is in custody. The grandmother is responsible. No suspect has been held against to say that it was this person or that person. None of that is happening. Nobody's been held responsible for anything. The police stated that no signs of foul play was seen on the scene at the time. So that is one of the things I need them to stop. I can't tell them, but I'm asking them, please don't do that, because I don't want anybody to get hurt. And I know it is traumatizing for the grandmother, because she was living with the grandmother at the time the grandmother grew her. The grandmother had her from she was 3 months. So it must be a little bit frustrating for them. And also for the persons that are entertaining my sister, she's a bit stressed out right now. She's going through her thing. I think one of the times she said that she was depressed. So I need her off the media, and I'm asking persons not to invite her on the live, because I don't want her to talk anything and then regret it later on. Because no information has been given to the family member that any signs of foul play was found on the scene. And she was not raped, nothing at all like that.
Why do you think that there is this speculation about her being in danger before she died by family members?
So there was a conversation between she and her mother. They have been having it for a while, where she was stating that she wants to go where her mother is because she's getting beaten and all of that. However, from my point of view, I know that every child get beaten. So I don't want it to be out there on the media as if the grandmother was abusing her.
So you're saying categorically tonight, as of right now, the police do not suspect Crystal's grandparents, her father, or any close family member of being involved in her death.
That's correct, Mr. Phillips.
In terms of the allegations around Crystal's father, I mean, he has a shaky background, doesn't he?
He has a past, and I think that is one of the reasons that helped to contribute to what the public is saying right now because of his past. But he's not a suspect.
Just for transparency purposes, he's a formerly convicted of rape.
That's correct. And I have no information on that situation.
But you're saying he's not been questioned by the police in relation to his daughter's death?
No. We went by the station and it was just for him to give a statement about if he has seen his child and what he know about her. It was just basic information.
Do we know as of right now what line of inquiry the police are exploring or where this case might turn up? Is there a possibility that she may have died somewhere else and somebody dumped her body in the river? Do you know where the investigation is and where the police might be taking things?
The information that I have received from the police is that where she was found, that was not where she died. She died in the body that was found was not the body did not die. The person did not die where they found the person. The person would have died a bit up the river.
So there is a possibility that someone may have placed the body, which may potentially be your niece, in the place where it was discovered by a passerby who then called the authorities.
No, they have not said that either.
Right.
For now, they are suspecting that it can be a case of drowning.
Am I right in saying that her mobile phone and clothes was off?
Yes. No, the phone was not off. She went missing the Friday and the phone was on until the Wednesday when they found the body. The phone died. And that the clothes and the phone that was found on the scene, those were taken into custody with the police.
And Crystal may have been undressed. She didn't have clothes on?
No, it could be a case where, I am speculating that it could be a case where she went to take a shower or something and she took off her clothes.
Again, Megan, I'm just asking the questions that people may be scratching their heads wanting answers to. The river where she was found, was that a familiar place where Crystal would go, and would she often go there to bath and to sort of take her clothes off to go swimming?
She would have not been going to the river because she was not allowed to go to the river because she cannot swim.
Right. So do you see why a lot of people, perhaps even your own sister, might be skeptical that there is more at play here? There might be something sinister that had gone on. Someone may have hurt her.
I totally understand. Yeah, I understand all of that.
Do you think that the police should maybe widen the investigation and try and look into the last people who saw Crystal, where she was? I mean, what do you know about her last movements and where she last was? When was her last contact with the family before she was found dead?
So the last person that she spoke with was actually her grandfather. He was one of the last person to have seen her alive. She left the house to go where her grandmother worked, which is down the road from the house, the family house or the main house that she was living. And then it's a hearsay though. Somebody spoke that they saw her going down by the river by herself.
Is that something that Crystal would usually do? Does she go and play by herself near rivers, or just, would she just like to relax maybe in the sun and, decided to go for a swim and drown? I mean, what theory, deep down are you working towards or are you sort of believing right now?
All right, so let me start with the first question. Based on the information that was given by your grandmother, because remember, Crystal has not been living with us from she was 3 months. The grandmother stated that Crystal would not normally leave the house. She would just go school, church, home.
Right.
So she was not the type of child to leave house, school, church, home.
Right.
What I do believe though, at first when I saw the pictures and when I heard everybody saying that yes, this had happened, she was raped, there was a lot going through my mind. Um, but then I reached out to the police and I asked him, I said, "Good afternoon, sir, ma'am. What is going on with my niece?" And they would have shared the information that Miss Lindsay, no foul play is suspected as yet. And no sign of cutting, no sign of sexually assault outside physically that they are looking at the body. No, that has not been said. So then I withdraw my speech and I'm just there looking at the situation, trying to figure out what could have caused her to end up by the river. You know, I'm just thinking logical. I'm not thinking that, oh Jesus peace, you know, say probably somebody carry her down there and kill her. That wasn't my intention then, but now I'm thinking different. I'm thinking what maybe she went by the river to take a swim because she had high problems, you know. So I
What do you
don't know
mean?
if she so she had to wear glasses. But couple months before the glasses was broken and it was not being replaced.
So, do you think she may have accidentally stumbled into the river? Is that a theory that you're exploring?
Yes, I'm exploring that. That could be a possibility also. Because I don't want to go ahead and judge anybody wrongfully. I don't want to be there, you know, online giving out false information. I can say what I'm thinking, but then at the end of the day, I don't want to think wrong. I want to always be in the right. So when the autopsy come back, I can say, yes, this was what I was thinking, and this is what happened. And as I stated to you before off the year, whenever the autopsy comes and it says this happened or that happened, I will definitely share it. So, to let you know that this is what they said happened, or anything any information that I have received.
Megan, is there anything you've seen or you've heard online that has been hurtful or misleading that you want to address?
Yes, because I'm in the comment section now and I see where somebody commented and said, "I don't love my niece and I'm covering up something." I just want the public to know that I'm not covering up anything. And if there was any information on anybody that had hurt my niece, that would definitely be out there. I'm not covering up anything. I just don't think the media is the correct place for my sister to go and vent.
Why do you feel like she's having to do that then? Is that because no one's listening to her? The police aren't listening to her? Does she feel as though the case is not being given the urgency by the police that it should be given?
No, it's not the urgency, and it's not that she's not receiving any information. The child was handed over to the grandmother. The grandmother is the legal guardian of the child. The father has nothing at all to do with the child. When I say nothing at all to do with the child, the child is not in the care of the father, and the child is not in care of the mother either. When the child went missing, the grandmother went and she reported it. So most of the information would have been given to the grandmother, seeing that she's the legal guardian for the child, and she reported the incident. However, my sister thinks that that is unfair and we cannot fight the law.
So you're just doing due diligence. You're doing the right thing in terms of let's just wait for the autopsy to come back, because there is a possibility this might not be Crystal, the body that was discovered. I mean, it's highly unlikely, but there is a possibility. We've got to work on that theory. However, it is highly likely to be Crystal because your sister said she saw the photos of the body and she believes there are similarities to her daughter. And I guess any mother would be able to look at a child and know if that is their child.
Could you repeat that again for me, please? Because my internet went out for a bit.
I was making clear that you are doing the right thing, due diligence, wanting to wait for the autopsy to be completed before you make the conclusion that is Crystal, because there is a possibility it might not be Crystal, but it is highly likely that it is Crystal, because your own sister, who's her mother, said it's likely to be her child. She saw the photos and says
that is correct.
There is similarities of the body that looks like her daughter.
That is correct. And every mother knows their child or children. So in any case where you see the child, you will know that it is your child, but the law is still there, and the law is still stating that for now she's still currently missing. Until the DNA test is done and the autopsy is done, then they can say, yes, this was Crystal, or this is Crystal.
Is there any, or are there any questions that you and grandma and dad and grandpa want answered tonight? Are there any outstanding questions that you yourself have?
I just really want the autopsy to get done so I can know what really took place. I'm waiting for answer, and believe me, it is stressing, Mr. Phillips. It has taken a big impact on my family, and so we really want to hear answers, but we just have to wait. And it is getting there, because if the autopsy was not postponed yesterday, then we would have already have answers. But we just have to wait. And I just really want the autopsy to be done so we can know where we're at.
Talk to us about your niece. I feel like we all now know her name. We all recognize this photo of her that is obviously, unfortunately, recognize her as a statistic. A young child who has died in Jamaica under very mysterious circumstances. But like we said, we have to, and again, I misspoke there. It may potentially be your niece, but just talk to us about the daughter that you know. The niece that you remember. What was she like? She was only 12 years old, so she had a very short life. Who was Crystal? Tell us about her.
And I'm going to say this, and probably a lot of people are going to judge, but I don't know much about Crystal because she did not grow up in our care. I've seen her, I've spent time with her, but the little that I know is that she's quiet. She's rude. She have her moments when she's rude. She's quiet. She love to go to church. She love her school. She don't have a lot of friends though. She's not the friendly person. She's not a friendly person. She don't have a lot of friends.
So just for us to understand fully, so Crystal didn't live with your sister. So your mother, took custody of her?
No. So that is a story that I need to get to also. My mother was the one caring for Crystal, but then my mother got ill in 2014. 2013. Crystal born October, 7th of July, October 2013. My mother got sick somewhere in there, about there. She had stage 4 ovarian cancer. So my sister would work, which is Crystal mommy. She would work and she would ensure that she give my mother whatever she's working. But because my mother got sick, she said, listen, why don't you give Crystal to her grandmother, seeing that you are here and about trying to get me medication, you have to be up and down with me. So that's how Crystal went into the care of her father's mother at 3 months old.
So Crystal didn't even grow up much with mom.
That's correct.
It's the person, Crystal's guardian, who people have been criticizing online, saying she may have played a role in Crystal's death.
That is so correct, Mr. Phillips.
Or Crystal going missing, rather.
She did spend time with her mommy, but it would have not been like, you grew up, but she would have spent time with her mommy and she would have spent time with me, because whenever time I visit my sister, sometimes she would be there. However, the case got a bit intense on both parents, which would have been the father of Crystal and the mother of Crystal, which is my sister. The case would have got intense, and then the grandmother got full custody of the child, where the child would have been allowed to visit my sister only on Sundays. I didn't follow up it much because I know the situation between the grandmother and my sister. They don't get along either. So I didn't follow it up much. So in the end, when it was reported that Crystal was missing, my sister got a bit over the head because she was saying that, hey, the judge take come a pitney and she get the granny, and now this are the end result of it.
There were allegations made by Crystal that she was being abused by the grandmother, and that
Yes,
went to court. What was the outcome of that?
yes, she did, and my sister reported it. And when they turned up at the court, Crystal stated that she did not mean it to come off that way, but she's not been abused by her grandmother.
If the body is confirmed to be Crystal, where do you hope things go after this? What does closure or getting the family to get together to grieve and to be united in giving Crystal a good burial, remembering her properly? I mean, do you guys have a plan for when and if confirmation does come back and the autopsy says it was Crystal? And if there are...
Yeah. We're working on a plan, and we're trying to get the family as close as possible. Where I'm trying to get my sister and the grandmother to, try. They don't have to build a relationship because they don't need to build a relationship anymore, but they just need to get together for once. If the body return and it is Crystal, I want Crystal to get a burial. This is not what I wanted because she hasn't lived any life. But thus the situation is here and we have to handle it. So I really do hope that if the body is Crystal's, we work really good together and get things out of the way. And as in for my sister, I'm trying my best to see if I can get a counselor for her because to me she's in a state of depression right now. So that's why, because I have a lot of people in the comment section who are saying that I don't want my sister to speak out. It's not that I don't want her to speak out, but she's not in the correct frame of mind right now to speak out.
Megan, I really appreciate you taking the time coming on and for just giving us this background, right? Because we're in that time where social media means that people will pretend they know everything. They know all the facts. And I know you're doing the right thing and just wanting to follow procedures to wait for the autopsy to be done. And once it is, and if it is confirmed to be Crystal, then I guess, you guys can take whatever action you need, whether that's putting pressure on the police to say, hey, we have serious questions about why Crystal would go to the river, despite not being, she wasn't a frequent swimmer in the river. Why would she go to the river? Was that where she had died, or was she killed somewhere else and then placed in the river? Because that body that was discovered anyway, it has to belong to someone. And also just trying to understand, was there someone close to the family who may have hurt Crystal? Was there something going on that the wider family had no idea of? There are so many questions, but I know obviously the autopsy is crucial, and that's what you wanted to come on to highlight tonight. Just to say 27 days is a long time. It's a lot of agony for the family to be enduring and for the family to be going through.
If because I've seen pictures, I didn't went on the scene, but I have received pictures of Crystal body. And if it was not in the state of decomposition that it was found in, I guess would have already had answers. But based on the state of the decomposition, that is one of the reasons the police insist that my sister should not speak out, and I also shouldn't not have spoken out before to let anybody know that this is happening or that is happening, because we're still not sure. There is no face. Who have seen the images can tell you that there is no face, and the body was found face down.
I mean, the images are distressing, and I wouldn't recommend anyone to go and look at them for the sake of it. But I appreciate you coming, given the significant public interest in this case, you just coming on tonight, setting the facts out and making us aware that the autopsy is in the process of being done. And I know once it is confirmed, if it is Crystal, if it is not Crystal, then I think we go back to the drawing board in trying to appeal to try and find Crystal. And I'm sure you'll be back to update us anyway, Megan.
Yes, but I definitely do. I have a feeling, and the feeling is not good, but I do have a feeling that it is her. No other person has been missing in Portland. And nobody else has come to claim a body that, hey, somebody did miss her from St. Elizabeth, and we here so you find one body. So, it is giving that thought that it is her, but I just really need this to come so we know how to deal with it. We have to brace ourselves just in case the police said she was sexually assaulted or she was killed. We need to know how to deal with that because trust me, it is not easy. So, because me don't know how would I feel or when would I do if me hear say somebody hurt her. Me just don't know because I have children too, and I would not love for one of my child to turn out or to hear any bad news about one of my child.
Megan Lindsay, thank you for your time tonight. And we're going to keep following this story. And I know when you get an update, once the autopsy's back, we will do another update for everyone who's interested in just trying to find out the truth for exactly what has happened to your niece. But thank you for your time tonight.
And thank you so much, Mr. Phillips. Have a wonderful evening.
All right. Thank you, Megan. It's a difficult story, isn't it, that one? I know that there has been significant interest across social media, people wanting to talk about the story, but the auntie there just wants to do the right thing and she's waiting for the autopsy, and then she will begin to asking the same questions that everyone else has. But we just want to remember the fact that there is a 12-year-old girl who is still missing, and that might technically be Crystal. So when we're attacking people, we're questioning their credibility, let's just bear that in mind that, that there is a family out there mourning tonight. So we'll keep you updated with that story. I also want to, talk to you very quickly about another story before we bring in our special guest. We're going to be talking about the third country national scandal in a moment. But as we all know, speaking of mourning, Jamaica is in mourning right now. One of the greatest coaches in the history of track and field, Stephen Francis, has died. He was 64 years old, and he passed away just one day after celebrating his birthday, bringing an end to a career that transformed Jamaican athletics and changed the sport forever. But before becoming one of the most successful coaches, Stephen walked away from a promising career in finance to pursue his passion, a decision that would redefine Jamaican sprinting. Let me just show you some of the people. Let's bring the split screen up where we show the plethora of talent who Stephen worked with, who he delivered, and allowed these people to become legends in their own right. Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, Asapha Powell, just a few of the Olympic and world champions who he's coached. But how did Stephen become so great? Because you can imagine, right? It's not easy to have a vision. You are a finance guy, a money guy, and you think to yourself, I'm going to take a big gamble and I'm going to invest in developing people. And he did, and I'm sure you guys will agree, an astonishing job. And he did it at a time when many of Jamaica's top athletes were looking overseas. They were going to foreign countries for training. And he proved that world champions could be delivered at home in Kingston in Jamaica. And as you'd expect, there have been tributes pouring in from across Jamaica and from across the international community. I want to show you this tribute now from Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados. And I think of all the tributes I've seen, she sums up Stephen Francis's legacy so well. Can we show Mia Mottley's tribute?
The road to success is largely uncomfortable. It is. If you're enjoying yourself too much, it means that you're probably not going to reach where you're going, right? That you.
So that was Stephen talking a little bit about, success and how you get to success and not being comfortable, pushing yourself. Let me show you Mia Mottley's, tribute to him. I want to read it very quickly. And she says, Jamaica has lost one of its great builders of sport, and the Caribbean has lost a man whose work gave all of us a reason to stand taller. For so many boys and girls across the Caribbean, his work proved that small islands can still shake the world. May he rest in peace, and may his legacy continue to run in every young athlete who dares to believe. So, Mayor Motley there paying tribute to Stephen Francis. Now, Stephen Francis proved that greatness didn't have to be imported, like I said, right? It could be built at home with discipline, belief, and hard work. We can see him with one of the greats there, Asafa Powell. Let's just sit on Asafa's photo for a moment. You know, because people like Asafa, they crossed the finish line first. But Stephen's greatness and his biggest victory, I think, was showing an entire generation that a small country of 2.7 million could stand at the very top of world sport. Records will continue to be broken, but by the talents that come out of Jamaica. Medals will fade, but Stephen Francis's legacy will keep running for generations to come. And I'm sure you guys will agree with me, right? That this is a legacy that will be unmatched. And may Stephen Francis rest in peace. And we can just bring the final photo up. I mean, it is a life well lived, isn't it? 1963, 3rd of July, 1963 to the 4th of July, 2026. Died just a day, just one day after marking his 64th birthday. So Stephen Francis there. Right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be speaking to our special guest about the third country national scandal, the leaked documents, the unanswered questions, and Ambassador Audrey Marks's response. Does it make sense?
Looking for the perfect Airbnb in Jamaica? Heart's Desire Rentals has the ideal stay for every traveller. Choose from our stylish 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom accommodations in Kingston and St. Anne, designed for comfort, convenience and relaxation. Enjoy modern amenities, 24-hour security, gated parking and easy access to shopping, dining and entertainment. Or unwind at Heart's Desire Marina Villas in Drax Hall Estate, St. Anne, featuring a private beach, swimming pool, gym, tennis courts and stunning coastal views. Whether you're traveling for business, a romantic getaway, or a family vacation, your perfect Jamaican getaway is just a click or call away. Explore all our properties online. Heart's Desire Rentals, where luxury meets comfort and every stay feels like home. We look forward to hearing from you, so book your stay today.
Now, this is PDTV News. Welcome. It is a Sunday the 5th of July. Thank you for being with us, everyone. Now, we're going to talk about a controversy that just won't go away. Questions are still swirling over the government's agreement with the United States that could see Jamaica receive third country nationals deported from America. So what exactly has Jamaica agreed to? What are the legal, diplomatic, and political implications? And has the government been fully transparent with the Jamaican people? Joining me now to dig beneath the headlines is one of Jamaica's most accomplished diplomats. He spent decades serving the country, including as Deputy Secretary General of CARICOM, Jamaica's ambassador to the United Nations, and senior advisor to the President of the United Nations General Assembly. Ambassador Byron Blake, welcome to the show. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
Listen, Ambassador, I'm going to get straight into this because I feel like people want to hear what you think. I mean, you were at one point in Ambassador Marks's position. You spent time, sitting in those rooms, negotiating, drafting policies. When a deal like this begins, where does it usually start? Is it driven by, for example, the Prime Minister who will say, hey, you're my representative in, for example, Washington. I want you to pursue this policy. We want to build relations. I want you to pursue this. Or is it the diplomat themselves who will come up with the idea, or advisors or civil servants? How are we in this position? Who do you think is behind this policy?
Well, let me start off by correcting something you've said. I wasn't an ambassador in the category of Ambassador Marks, who was indeed Ambassador Extraordinaire and Plenipotentiary from Jamaica to Washington, which meant that in her ambassadorial position, she had the ability to commit the country and to sign off or to commit the country. That was when she was ambassador extraordinaire and ambassador plenipotentiary. My own ambassadorial drifts were really three pieces. One, in 2005, when Jamaica asked me to go to New York as deputy permanent representative and ambassador to chair the group of 77 and China. At the time, there was an ambassador plenipotentiary who would be the person who would really sign off on agreements. Then in 2008, or the end of 2007, and this is what persons don't know, I was asked by the government of Antigua and Barbuda to represent them chairing the group of 77 in China in the same way that I did for Jamaica. So Antigua and Barbuda appointed me again as deputy permanent representative and ambassador. Still, I didn't have plenipotentiary powers, fortunately.
Right. So ambassadors do have a bit of power then.
Well, I'm making that point because the ambassador plenipotentiary and extraordinary has powers and they can commit the country.
Right.
The other person who can commit the country and who most often does that is your foreign minister. The foreign minister has the capacity to commit the country. And the third person in that line would be the head of government, or in the case of a presidency, the head of state. They have the power to commit the country.
So we've got a list here then. So foreign minister, an ambassador, and the leader, the three people who would have the power to negotiate or to implement a deal like this.
To commit the country.
Right. So who do you think is behind this? So from what you know so far and your experience in government at home and abroad, what the hell do you think is going on?
Well, I know nothing.
Right.
I have not seen the memorandum. I have heard different stories about the origin of this initiative. Let me say that if it originated with with Minister Marks, that Minister Marks would have no capacity to commit the country because she's no minister. She's no longer the ambassador plenipotentiary who has the power. So as a minister, she a minister and not the foreign minister, she would have no potential to commit the country.
So does that mean, Ambassador Blake, that Audrey Marks is correct? She had nothing to do with this?
Well, that doesn't follow. You know, there are people who, either because of the history or for whatever, might consider themselves to have power. But she should know better. But when to say she has nothing to do with it, again, I don't know what that means, because I understand that there was a note
yeah,
by someone in the
diplomatic note. I want to ask you about that, Ambassador Blake. A diplomatic note is record of meetings of what, say, for example, if you're meeting with the foreign minister for China or for Sudan, there will be notes from that meeting, right?
Yeah, but the diplomatic note
Right.
tends to be, for example, if I had a discussion with somebody from the United States Embassy, and that person knows that I really don't have the power to sign off, they will put our conclusions as they understood it in writing and would then submit that note to the foreign ministry, because the foreign ministry would have the power to accept or to sign off on that. But I don't know whether that is what happened here. And let me say that the most amazing thing about the story is that from the Jamaica side, it is as if it's under not only a bushel, but under 10 bushels of not corn, but 10 bushels of darkness, because you can't get a straight answer out of Jamaica, or at least I have not heard a straight answer out of Jamaica.
What do you think of the Prime Minister and his handling of this? Has he answered the questions that you want answered?
Well, I have not heard a statement from the Prime Minister. He might have made a statement, but I have not heard it.
Do you think he's handled this correctly?
Did you hear a statement from the Prime Minister?
He did put out a video yesterday saying that misinformation is not helping, and that Jamaica is not accepting, deportees with criminal backgrounds, and that people should stop speculating. But do you know what might help us at this point, Ambassador Blake? Can we bring the timeline up? I want to try and remind Ambassador Blake and everyone, let's just go back a little bit, because I did say we're going to dig a little bit deeper tonight. I want to bring the timeline of how this controversy unfolded. And we're going to go all the way back to March 2026. So can we bring that timeline up, the graphic? So March the 5th, 2026 is when we remember that regional security conference in Miami. The then cabinet minister, former ambassador Audrey Marks, is alleged, and that's when the diplomatic note first emerged, Ambassador Blake. And the diplomatic note showed that she proposed a third country nationals agreement that could see Jamaica receive up to 10,000 deportees from the United States. Then we had June the 17th. And I think this is why she is central to this. This is why she is central to this. June the 17th. Matthew, let's bring the graphic up. I just really want everyone to follow what we're doing tonight, because I think this is really crucial. So if we can bring the graphic up of the timeline of how this scandal unfolded. So if you bear with us, guys, I just want to bring this graphic up just so that we can all follow this carefully. So June the 17th, the Gleaner reveals the existence of this memo and the understanding that was on the table between the United States. Let's go full frame on this. So there we go. It talks about the agreement between Jamaica and the US on third country nationals. Then on the 17th, the same day, all the way into the 18th, the government confirms but says there is no agreement to accept 10,000 deportees. We remember then on the 18th, on the same day, the Minister for National Security and Deputy Prime Minister Horace Chang tells Parliament the agreement was requested by the US and that individuals would only transit through Jamaica unless they're granted asylum. On that same day, the Gleaner publishes a leaked US diplomatic note stating Ambassador Marks originated the proposal, then, allowing the controversy to intensify. Then in late June, the opposition, civil society, and the public, some very important organizations and public bodies started demanding transparency and full details of the deal. We get to early July. Audrey Marks comes out. She rejects the claims and says that this was all orchestrated, to attack her character. She had no involvement in the deal. Then, as of right now, Ambassador Blake, we're asking the question: who initiated it? How did this come to be? So, do you see where everyone is going with this, Ambassador Blake? Her name was on the diplomatic notes. Why is that?
It would seem to me that given the history and given the diplomatic note, it would seem to me that being at that particular conference, that minister, Minister Audrey Marks might very well have initiated it for whatever her reason would be. Now, presumably, whoever in the US system that you spoke to thought it wise to commit what she had offered to writing in the note because they would know that she no longer had the power to commit the country. Now, one question in my mind would be who did that US source, to whom did it direct the diplomatic note? Because that diplomatic note ought to have been directed to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The fact that the note conveys a different level of, let us say, cooperation, talking about 10 to up to 10,000 or thereabouts, and the Minister of Security talking about what was so much smaller number, and basically saying that these persons are passing through. And he didn't seem to know about the note, but he spoke about a number of persons. So presumably he was talking about a different agreement from what Marx would have originated. And if he was not talking about a different agreement, he clearly was trying to deceive the country. Because given the way he put it, you had a small number of persons, they're really just passing through, and I'm going to come back to that. They're really just passing through. So there's really no big commitment, there's no big problem. So the difference between what is in the diplomatic note and what the Minister of Security was saying, that difference is so stark that the Minister of Security needs to explain that difference, assuming that he has seen the diplomatic note. And if he did not see the diplomatic note, what is the source of his saying that there would be this small number and they were passing through? What document was he reading from, or is he reading from?
Does that mean? Yeah.
So it means that the Minister of Security has an obligation to the country to say what document he was reading from, and to the best of his knowledge, what was the origin of the document that he was reading from. Now,
yeah,
you just said that Minister Marx said that she had nothing to do with it. What does she define as it that she has nothing to do with? And when she says that it was somebody who's trying to defile her character, or whatever the word she used, who would that somebody be? Because the document that refers to her is the diplomatic note from the United States. I'm not going to say, I don't know if it's the embassy, I don't know if it's the State Department, I don't know what part of the United States that diplomatic note originated from. But if it originated in the United States situation, and Ambassador Marx, who just about up to a year or a year and a half ago was a diplomat in Washington, the question which I would ask is, why would somebody in the United States Service want to tarnish the image of Ambassador Marks? So, no, sorry, of Minister Marks.
So does that mean,
yeah.
Ambassador Blake, I want to pick this up. Does that mean you are struggling like the rest of Jamaica to believe that Ambassador Marks had nothing to do with this agreement? Somebody would have sent her to negotiate or to have taken part in these conversations. Is that a fair thing to say, or is that disingenuous?
Well, what I would say is, if it's recording notes, the diplomat know the way it is, nobody might have sent her to negotiate anything. She, for her whatever reason, she could have decided to raise and dreaming back to her days of Ambassador Plenipotentiary, dreaming back to those dates, thinking that she could make an offer. Now, if she was going to make an offer that way, there would have to be some reason, some consideration why she would do that. And if she did that, and when that is now sent out as a note bearing in mind records with dates from a discussion with her, she has an obligation to say, no, I did not have any such discussion with anybody in the United States diplomatic service circles, and I denounce that note as coming from the United States circles.
So that is what she needs to say to fully exonerate herself. That she, right, but she's not said that. She has made it clear that she is not the person who orchestrated the deal. So does that mean, Ambassador Blake, that the only person who could have sent her to do this is the Deputy Prime Minister or the Prime Minister?
No, the Deputy Prime Minister would have no power to send her to go and negotiate a deal.
So what about the Prime Minister?
The Prime Minister could.
So there's only...
Or the Minister of Foreign Affairs could.
Right, so you've whittled it down for us tonight, Ambassador Blake. It's either the Foreign Minister or the Prime Minister who would have been above her, who would have said, hey, we want to do this. Can you go and stand in for us and have these conversations?
It would have had to be, but I'm not going to say that, because it is possible that she, knowing that the people in the U.S. circles knew her as Ambassador Plenipotentiary, she could have, on her own, raise it and then expect it to come down now through the circles, presumably to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So, and this is where I'm saying that she is under obligation to say publicly that she had no discussion with anybody in the U.S. circles, and certainly she had no discussion at that March meeting. So she made no offer, and she made no suggestion. She has to say that. And unless she can say that in very plain terms, a cloud hangs over her head, and it's not a thin cloud. Now, I say that she could have taken that without being prompted. So she could have set something up and then expect a thing to move. And this is now when the US person put it in writing as a diplomatic note, I would want to know who they sent that diplomatic note to. Because that diplomatic note, if it were if it were intended to be a note, had to have been sent to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is the body
This
which
is
would have
good.
the ability.
We're getting there, Ambassador Blake. Listen, I appreciate the insight. Here's my next question. I feel like I'm learning something now, and I hope everyone with us tonight is following along as closely as I am. How involved would the Ministry of Foreign Affairs usually be compared with the Office of the Prime Minister or the Cabinet in a deal like this?
The office, or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has the ability to raise something like this. But somebody would have said to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we would wish to have an arrangement, or the United States could have said to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or to somebody, we would like to have your support on this matter. Now, I think I did hear the Minister of Security says that it was the United States that raised it. But if that was the case, he now also has to prove that, and when did the United States raise it, and with whom did the United States raise it. So I'm saying all of that to say that there's such an effort to keep the Jamaican people in the dark that it really bears serious discovery and follow through, because if the Minister of Security says that it was the United States who raised it, and therefore somebody followed up, he needs to say, who is that somebody who followed up when the United States raised it? And what is that document that the United States raised, which is not the diplomatic note? So what is that document that the United States raised? And where does he get his small number of persons?
Does this, if we do a final round, a final question, Ambassador Blake, if we're going to drive along the road, do you think we should take the nearest exit and go back towards the Prime Minister, or does he not have very much to do with this? Does this all go back to her boss, the person who's the head of the government right now?
Well, not so much the person who's the head of the government, but she is a minister in the office of the Prime Minister. She would have been sent to the conference or to whatever that thing was in March by the Prime Minister. Should have been sent to that because she's a minister in the office of the Prime Minister. So should have been sent by the Prime Minister to that. Now, whether she was sent with instructions to do more than she'd normally be going when you're going to that defense minister corporation thing is a question. But certainly her going to the March meeting would have been sanctioned by the Prime Minister. He would have named her as a person to go to that meeting.
Are you as fed up as like the rest of us with how much cover up and lack of transparency in all of this? Isn't this just a whole? Isn't this listen? I'm going to put my diplomatic words aside. Isn't this just a mess, a shitty mess? Isn't this really bad for Jamaica and for transparency and accountability and trust in and people trusting these public institutions and ministers who go abroad and who do jobs to hopefully do deals that will benefit the Jamaican people? Isn't this just a whole shitty mess, sir? Sorry for my language.
No. Well, I didn't hear your language at all. But let me say that there have been several situations where persons have gone abroad and have come up with arrangement. There is, and there's no reporting back. There is a situation dealing with small modular uh, nuclear reactors. And to the best of my knowledge, they have been for at least 18 months, more than that. Something have been out there. People have been going out. They have signed on to uh, an agreement within the framework of within the shadow of a UN meeting where 25 countries committed themselves to going with and to tripling the volume of their nuclear energy by 2050. Jamaica was the only country in the Western Hemisphere which is not a nuclear power. So it joined Canada and the United States, which are nuclear powers. Jamaica is not a nuclear power, but Jamaica signed on to that. And there was no reporting of that to the Jamaica Parliament. There were other situations where Jamaica, a person representing Jamaica, have gone to discussions certainly with Canada, on small nuclear reactors, and nothing come back into the Jamaica system. It was just a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks or so ago, where a minister, and it happened to be a minister in the office of the Prime Minister, in his budget speech, was saying that Jamaica is going to pursue this. Now, this is against the background where several persons, including myself, have been writing that you cannot pursue nuclear power, whatever type, in Jamaica, and certainly not small modular, which have been operated nowhere and are still in development and state.
All right.
But I'm saying all of that to say it doesn't come back into Parliament.
Right.
That's wrong.
Do you know what, Ambassador Byron Blake, it's been so insightful. I know we've unpacked a lot, but I feel like I now have a clearer understanding, and it gives me now an opportunity to read between the lines. I know you're very I know obviously you're a diplomat, so you have your way in responding to questions and answering them in your way. But I'm so happy that I was able to kind of get your experience in how these things work. And I feel like I now have a list that will allow us to ask some fresh questions tomorrow and to direct our attention to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I mean, what did they know and how involved were they? So, sir, thank you for your time tonight. And I hope you come back again.
Well, let me just say that I am the least diplomatic of persons. But my problem with this particular case is I have no information. And as a technical person, I really can't speak where I don't have information and where I have heard of different stories. So I can't speak definitively about anything.
So here's the thing, Ambassador Blake. We're going to keep digging and we're going to take you along with us. So hopefully when we find out more, you can guide us and help us. How about that? Is that okay?
That's fine by me. If there's information that I can speak to, yes.
Ambassador Blake, thank you for your time tonight. And you'll be back again. When we find out more, we'll keep updating people and getting your expert analysis. But that was beautifully done tonight, sir. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. So let me just take a deep breath. Okay. There was a lot to process. I don't know about anyone else here, but I bet a lot of you guys weren't listening, but there was so much that I took away. I was making notes. So tomorrow, we can start asking some fresh questions, right? But someone like Ambassador Blake, who was there, who make these policies and who work with, diplomats in the US, he knows exactly what he's talking about. Sometimes we've got to use a bit of wisdom and read between the lines. But I'm going to share with you guys what I know real soon once we get to tomorrow and the following days as we continue to cover this crisis on the show. Now, here's the thing. We're going to look at the other side of this because Jamaica is the latest country caught up in this, third country scandal, right? That is because the Trump administration has been reaching out, as we now know, to countries across Africa, Latin America, as well as the Caribbean, Antigua and Barbuda. They're now one of the countries, potentially looking to take deportees. Now, Jamaica obviously finds itself on this growing list. So tonight we're stepping back from the politics and asking the bigger question: why is this happening, and what does it mean when smaller nations are being asked to play a role in in America's immigration crisis? Joining me is civil rights leader and political commentator, the Reverend Mark Thompson, a man who, in fact, it's worth saying tonight, guys, worked on the late Reverend Jesse Jackson's historic presidential campaign and has spent decades fighting for justice, holding those to power accountable. Not sure if you heard, Reverend, a moment ago, my conversation with the former ambassador there. We were trying to dig to get information to see how these diplomatic conversations take place. Does Trump send someone like Marco Rubio or one of these diplomats to stronghold these smaller countries and say, hey, take all the deportees we don't want. Take the despicable people we don't want. Take the ones who we need out of America ASAP. We're just trying to figure out what is going on here. I mean, why do you think smaller countries like Jamaica are being drawn into this strategy to try and solve America's deportation crisis? So, Reverend, I think you might be muted, actually. Is it me, or can... We might just have a little... I think we're not getting any audio from you, Reverend. Do you want to leave and come back in? Okay, cool. We'll let you circle back in. So I was saying, Reverend Thompson, a man who doesn't mince his words, says it as it is. So I'm really keen to hear his perspective on what is going on. And I know that previous conversation, guys, was a little long, but sometimes we have to do these things if we want to learn things. We have to bring the people, the experts on. So the fact that Ambassador Blake gave us his time today, I was really, really, fortunate. I was really, really happy about that. Let's not forget, he worked on the PJ Patterson as ambassador to the UN for Jamaica, and also he worked on the JLP as well as an ambassador. So he's not really a one-party, sort of ambassador or anything like that. He described himself as a technical ambassador. There's a lot of technical work, policies, in writing all these policies that then ministers announce. So he's a very technical guy. So we're going to bring him back again because I learned a great deal. But once Reverend Thompson circles back, I really want to understand what is going on. What is going on, and potentially is there going to be any end to all of this? Because of all the Caribbean nations, right? Why Jamaica? Why Jamaica? Why? There are 30 countries, by the way, so far that have taken people, but why not send them to Barbados or somewhere like that? Why Jamaica, right? That's the question that we want to try and get to the bottom of tonight. So here's the thing. So Reverend Thompson, we need you to exit StreamYard completely and then come back in. So what we'll do, guys, we're going to take a quick minute break and then just try and help Reverend with the technicals. Then we'll come back and get him to answer that pressing question. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Right, let's bring in Reverend Mark Thompson now. Let's see if this is going to work. Listen, I promise you, it's gonna worth the while, because you're gonna want to hear what Reverend Thompson has to say. Reverend Thompson, you there?
Am I on stage?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. We'll bring you in vision. But just tell me, why do you think smaller countries? By the way, welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why do you think smaller countries like Jamaica are being drawn into this, immigration strategy?
Well, I don't know what Trump and the State Department are offering these smaller countries, but that's usually the way it works. And Trump is, for lack of a better characterization, I mean, he's the captain now, and everybody seems to be running scared of him. Either that, or there's also this notion, well, we'll just ride this out. He'll be gone in a couple of years, and we'll just ride it out. I don't personally think he's going to leave, but to my knowledge, it's not just smaller countries like Jamaica, but I mean, it's a lot of countries, and he's actually sending people, obviously, to places, deporting people to places where they're not even from. We live in an environment now that has become more and more xenophobic. We see what's going on in South Africa. All of these sentiments are being encouraged by social media, and a lot of this reached its apex, or to use a black historical term, the immigration xenophobia reached its nadir, its lowest point during Brexit. And that's not going too well for the United Kingdom, which exited from the European Union. Now, I came in and heard part of the conversation. Did I hear the diplomat say something? I need you to fill me in. Did I hear hear him mention something about nuclear capability?
Yes.
Yes. So I didn't catch all that. What was he saying?
So he was saying I think Jamaica doesn't have nuclear capability. So I think he was summing up a wider point around, Jamaica basically trying to be seen to be in Trump's good favors, and was kind of linking the deal, the agreement, to potential wider opportunities. And I think that circles back to your earlier point, right? Is it money that people are doing this for? Are they afraid of him? Or is it just genuinely a thing where from what we're seeing from the public in Jamaica, they don't want the America's, some people are saying, despicable characters, deportees that America doesn't want. Why should Jamaica have it? You have those people.
Yeah.
I think that's fundamentally the problem, and we're trying to get to the bottom as to why these countries are doing it. And I'm just wondering, do you see any parallels between this debate and earlier civil rights struggles over dignity, representation, and the fight and the right of communities to have a voice? Because I think the people at the moment feel like their governments aren't listening. They're just responding and giving this man what he wants.
Honestly, I don't think we've seen anything like this ever before. Even during the civil rights movement, there was always some level. First of all, you're dealing with the presidency. This is unprecedented, and no pun intended. And so this was not happening. And you've never had a president shake down or lean on other countries that have fewer resources to take people from this country. You never had a mass deportation in the way he's doing it. Now, to be fair, Barack Obama came to be known as the deporter in chief, but he did it in a less violent and less confrontational, a less, I guess, racist fashion, at least out loud. History will ultimately be the judge of that. But this is new territory, Noel, because if people are saying, why are our countries and our country's leaders doing whatever Trump demands, that's a different kind of outspokenness, which actually is a good one. Because what that means, you have people in the diaspora holding their own governments accountable in and around Donald Trump and his behavior, as others are trying to do here in the United States. So that's not a bad thing. People should be raising those questions. The fundamental question is, why is this dude, the video you keep showing, he's getting on a plane that was gifted to him, all right, that he will then take with him when he leaves and continue to be able to use it. He signed a deal that everyone upheld to say he can never be held accountable for his taxes or charged with anything. So there's no historical precedent in the civil rights movement or any other moment in time when this has happened. If anything, those who are raising questions, I mean, the closest similarity I can draw, when I was going to say that, not even that. We've not seen this because most folks, you can't plan for this. Nobody woke up expecting this. Nobody anticipated that we would have a president that would make these types of demands of other nations like ours and smaller nations like ours. I think that's the problem. This is the big bad United States. This is a big bad bear. And that's already formidable, but it's even more formidable when you have somebody like Donald Trump wielding that stick.
Is it ever possible for countries like those in the Caribbean, I mean, or even the bigger countries? We've seen how we treated the Prime Minister of Great Britain, Keir Starmer, how we sort of trolled him. I mean, I'm just wondering if the smaller islands can, the prime ministers of those countries, can they ever stand up to Trump? Does Jamaica have the moral right to say no? We don't want your deportees. Do you think people or countries or leaders can say no to someone like Donald Trump?
They can if they choose to. The question becomes, at what cost? And if these countries want to maintain some type of diplomacy or some type of relationship, or particularly a financial relationship or an aid relationship or a security and military agreement, then no, they can't do it. And it may not come, it shouldn't come as a shock to people. This is what countries do. They do it. They will often shape their behavior and their policy to fit whomever the president is in power at that time. I'm sorry. I wish I had better news, but I think that it's good that if the people of Jamaica, as you're saying, if the people of Jamaica are saying this is not what we want, then they're no different from those of us in the United States, and that's a good thing. So that's an opportunity to exploit our unity here on the ground in the United States, put that unity together with the unity of the sisters and brothers in Jamaica and other countries.
What would you advise?
There's no point in saying these countries saying they want to leave the Commonwealth and they want to take the crown off their currency, and then they end up becoming subjects of Donald Trump. You don't want to be subject to the British monarch. You don't even want to be subject to Donald Trump either.
So do you think that some of these leaders are compromised? Has the Trump administration and its approach to foreign policy sort of means that a lot of countries, which may have good intentions, want to do good, can no longer do so because they have to please him. They have to bow down and to give him what he wants.
I think you're right. I think that's challenging to be good and be useful when the world has pretty much been taken over by fascism. The United States is the most powerful country in the world. We know this. That's obvious. When you have a fascist running it and fascist movements rising up around the world and xenophobic fascist sentiment rising up around the world, this is a challenge that you have. And so do you blame those who are the victims of the colonization? is the question we have to ask ourselves. And some of these leaders obviously are being exploited. Some of them, all of them should stand up and resist in the same way they fought for independence at one time. I think we have to figure out the question, why don't they just do that? What are there's something we're not being told. What are the consequences if you do not accept these deportees? What will happen to you? What has been promised to you? Do we have that? Do we have the answer to any of those questions?
Nothing. And I think that's why we're in the position that we're in now, where people are trying to make sense of all of this, because nothing makes sense at the moment. And there is this lack of, and I'm sure we're all seeing it in America today, lack of, we're the ones in charge. We'll do the work. You don't need to know. We'll let you know when we want you to know. There is a lack of transparency at the moment. And we're seeing, that splinter down into certain countries, and certain world leaders are now taking that same approach, where the Jamaican people are saying, well, the prime minister doesn't want to be clear. We're all still trying to figure out who went and negotiated this deal, why they did it. I mean, the person, named in the diplomatic notes has come out to say, hey, don't attack me. I've got nothing to do with this. So everyone's thinking, well, if your name's on the diplomatic notes, then who's behind it? I mean, it's a big mess. What would you say directly from, to the Jamaican people, those who, are patriotic, love their country, don't want these deportees in their country, want Jamaica to be a sovereign nation and to protect its borders, to protect its people? What can they learn from the American civil rights movement about standing up for the right thing and persevering in the face of all the odds?
Well, I think Jamaica need look no further than its own decolonization movement. I mean, the civil rights movement, the decolonization of countries throughout the diaspora, a lot of that occurred simultaneously. And I think this is an opportunity to raise some of those questions again, to continue to push. I know Jamaica was trying to leave the Commonwealth. I don't know that actually happened.
No. So the conversation was had, and then there's a minister from the government. She's going to the UK in September to ask for reparations. So they dropped the idea of removing the king as head of state. They're now pursuing, it appears, reparations and payments.
And we know CARICOM is a part of the reparation struggle. That's why it's really, as Du Bois would say, a form of double consciousness for leaders to be making this deal with Trump. I really believe that responsible and independent investigative journalists need to find out what was not publicly in that memorandum of understanding. I think that's really, I mean, we can all be upset and people should protest, but that's what they should demand, transparency. I don't think Jamaica just did this to be doing it. And granted, there is a sentiment in the world, let's go along with Trump, let's just let him do whatever he wants to do. That's happening here in this country, even the Supreme Court. The very monarch that the Jamaican government first wanted to be removed from the Commonwealth from, and now wants reparations from, comes to the House of Representatives and says even the Magna Carta does not bestow unchecked executive power. And all the Republicans applauded Noel, didn't even realize he was talking about them. We're in an upside down world. Literally, the man that Jamaica gained its independence from, or the crown, I should say, from whom Jamaica wants to leave the Commonwealth and who wants reparations from, himself says, you don't give Donald Trump unchecked power. He's talking to everybody, including Jamaica. That's the thing. And, in a struggle, in a movement, historically, you have to have the educators, the philosophers, the intellectuals, to say that kind of stuff out loud. That this does not make sense. This is counterintuitive, cognitive dissonance. We're Jamaica. We want reparations. We no longer want the crown ruler on our currency. Folks came on my show from Jamaica and said, how can we build the self-esteem of young Jamaican children, not to mention other nations in the Caribbean, if a white woman is still on the money? I'm not saying it'd be disrespectful to the queen, but she was a white woman.
Mm.
And everybody was polite. Well, let's let her live out her reign, and then we're going to shut it down. But only then now to kowtow to Donald Trump. And
The
if
irony.
there's something in that fine print or not in the fine print, or if there's another document, or if a threat was made, it's really something that those in leadership in these nations should let me know. And the public should demand, and that's what immediately march and demand, make the call. We want to have full transparency on what the deal was with the United States.
I love the fact that you provided that context where it's like we're doing full circle. All of these countries that fought for independence are now sort of forgetting what their country's principles are and now bending over backwards for a leader like who I mean, you don't reckon he's going to leave at the end of his term. You think there's going to be what?
No. So he's going to try to figure out a way to stay in office, either cancel the election. The red states will put him back on the ballot, take it back to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court may uphold him. You know, again, folks, and let's just be clear. That's why I'm not going to, the people should demand transparency, but I'm not going to beat up on the sisters and brothers in leadership too much. And I'm going to tell you why. When there's no leadership in this country who wants to stop him. So where are your allies? The Supreme Court will not stop him. They've yet to do that. They let him gut the crown jewel of our civil rights movement, the Voting Rights Act. We barely survived the 14th Amendment being struck down, 5-4. That's not a good thing. That means they're going to come back to it again. Let's go further. Starmer, Macron, all the leadership in Europe, they don't want smoke either. Yeah, they make little comments, but nobody's really jacking him up. Dude, you are jeopardizing our energy supply, messing with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. That's why nobody messes with Iran. You see? So it's not just the Caribbean nations. There's a global sort of mentality that doesn't really want to take this dude on in the way that they could and should. So if you're a big mighty Europe and you're trying to circumvent him and work your way around him, what is Jamaica? What is the Virgin Islands? They're not the European Union. We don't have anything in CARICOM because we don't have reparations. So the truth is that these countries are probably in a least likely position to resist him. But this is where the people come in. That's where leaders and the people have to work together. Let the masses leaders give you some backbone. Let the masses defend your right to resist Donald Trump. But that has to happen in these places. This is a global problem with this dude. He's mother of the whole world.
You know, unfortunately, we're going to leave and go to bed tonight, right? Realizing that we're going to have to wake up back to this global problem. But as ever, Reverend Mark Thompson, I appreciate your insight. Reverend Thompson actually hosts
I hope that was helpful. I mean, I didn't give a lot of answers, but that's the dilemma we're in as I see it.
Listen, this is not a cheery subject, right? I mean, it's a depressing issue. But we do see that you do smile. There you are with the late Reverend Jackson. So he does smile, guys. He's a very, very smiley, nice guy. But unfortunately, the world at the moment means that there's not much for us to be smiling about. But Reverend Thompson, you host Make It Plain. So if you like a bit of what you heard there, flavor of America today, the civil rights, sort of the fight to maintain civil rights in America, and just, I guess, what's going on with Trump, you can follow the Reverend Thompson and check out his podcast as well.
Thank you. And Noah will be joining me on my show in the morning. Folks.
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. We'll be talking immigration again, unfortunately.
All of this stuff. And World Cup too. We're going to talk about the World Cup too.
Yes. I want to try and go and catch the last few minutes of that. But Reverend Thompson, appreciate your time, and I will catch you tomorrow, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you tomorrow. All right.
So, listen, I know today was heavy, right? It was heavy tonight, but I felt like we needed to do this tonight to try and, start the week with a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more understanding of all the big stories, the big issues that has been consuming the country and has been consuming the news over the last week or so. And, hearing from people like Reverend Thompson, from Ambassador, from the ambassador earlier as well, I thought, it's good when we just get out and hear how people who aren't in our circle think and how they're interpreting and seeing things. So a big thank you to everyone who was here for the ride. I hope you guys learned something. And I hope you guys can hopefully start looking at this story a little differently and realizing just how important it is, because we have a world leader right now that is not just disrupting the world order. I mean, former Prime Minister Bruce Golding, I'm not sure if anyone saw it. I haven't even seen anybody talking about it. He put out, he went to China over I think it was over the weekend, and gave a speech warning that the rules-based international order after the Second World War is under serious threat because of Donald Trump. And he's urging world leaders, including, his current Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, to change course before the damage becomes permanent. He's saying, you've got a guy who is pushing the envelope so hard and is pushing everything that it's only a matter of time before everything collapses and breaks. He mentioned the Cuban Missile Crisis, saying that he hasn't seen anything like this in the last 60 years. He mentioned the Ukraine conflict, the war in Iran as well. And, warning that also modern weapons are far more dangerous than what we saw in World War II. So if you guys get the chance, I'd really check out Mr. Golding's comments, a speech that he gave there in China. It was really, really informative. But you know what these diplomats are like? They don't name names. So again, you have to read between the lines. Prime Minister Golding was talking about, the United States, but wouldn't mention the elephant that is Donald Trump. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight, right? And I'm back again, I believe, on Wednesday. I think I'll pop up back on Wednesday. And hopefully on Wednesday, we're going to dive. I'm going to get my spade back out, and I'm going to dig a little deeper into this TCN scandal, because there is so much more questions that we need to get to. Arise is back in the morning from, I believe, 5 a.m. And then you've got Midday Connections. That will be back at 1 p.m. Jamaica time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, US time. And then we'll have the big show with Andre. He'll be back in the evening from 8 p.m. And he did say that he's got a big exclusive with you guys, for you guys, actually. So I think he's working on that at the moment. But thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you to the team behind the scenes for making today possible. And we will see you guys again real soon. Thank you and good night, everyone.